What I discovered in all my years of working is that there's really only one problem on the earth, and that is the state of human consciousness. How we compete, how we are not, we're filled with self-loathing that we then project on others, how we treat others as the enemy, how we are dominated by what we call, ego-based view of the world, where everything is about me and everything is about my short-term goals. That's what's gotten us in trouble. That's what's created this economic disaster that we're in. That's what creates war. And what I've been teaching through the programs of the stream, through my Living with Reality program and so on, is how to live from a place of oneness. Live it, really live it, and try to co-create a mutually supportive world.
As I was walking the human highway, I climbed a mountain and saw a skyway, and on that skyway there is no my way. This path was made for you and me.
I want to go out, meet, gather, and ignite my relations. There are so many people out there who really have been implanted in their hearts with the same passion that I have, which is to co-create a better world. There are so many of us who as children felt the pain of our family life, of the poor, the people who are oppressed, ourselves, our own anxiety, so much that needs to change, and then so many of us gave up on that dream at such an early age. Well, I have never given up. I never intend to give up.
From California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me.
I revived something that I had started way back in the early 90s, maybe 1992, which was called the spiritual activist movement. And at that time, I felt that if we could just come together around 3 simple practices that all spiritual people, and when I say spiritual, I don't mean you have to be religious or even think about yourself as spiritual, but people who are connected to one another through spirit. Just to have us all at least agree on 3 practices to unify our efforts and to move forward. And so we at the Stream are launching the spiritual activist movement, and we're doing it with this spiritual activist statement of commitment. We acknowledge that we are one, and that means there is no they. Even if you don't like that guy, you are somehow that one. We can't pick and choose when we say we are one. We can't say, oh, we don't like terrorists, or I don't like my mother-in-law. We are one. We are all that. We are all made of the same stuff, and we have to realize that when we hurt one another, we are hurting ourselves because we are one. The second point is to become accountable for our impact individually and collectively. And we are not taught to be this way. We are taught to look after ourselves, not to think about the impact that we're having on the people around us, not to think about the impact on the environment. Of course, there are lots of people who are trying to change that. But we have to realize that everything we do, feel, think, and say actually impacts everybody because we are one. So the second thing is to become accountable. And that means we have to get support to change. It's not good enough to say, well, I'm accountable. I'm not going to hurt anybody anymore. If we are driven by our pain, if we are driven into addictive behaviors that make us unaccountable and irresponsible, we need to heal. We need to find the support to make the changes so we can live in these ways. And we at the Stream have ways to do that, but there are many ways to do it, and we hope that everyone does that. And the third thing is to build a mutually supportive world by choosing the highest good of all. As Alan was talking about, you go into a job interview and you say, dear God, may the right person get this job. May it be for the highest good of all, whoever gets this job. Or when we come together to do anything, we say, what is for the highest good of all, including me? And that is a completely different paradigm from the one that we grow up with, which is compete, me, and the heck with everybody else. If we could unite around acknowledge we are one, become accountable for our impact individually and collectively, build a mutually supportive world by choosing the highest good of all, we could change human consciousness. If we changed human consciousness, we would change the world.
The source has given us this earth, the forest and the sea, to find the balance with all might and live responsibly. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that helps us to be free. Our hearts can soar when we sing out our love for you and me.
We are the revolution when we change. This is the revolution. This is the only revolution that will ever count.